If you ever wanted to know more about the South Side of Chicago, the Quad Communities is a great place to start. Go east on 26th Street, and when you hit King Drive, look for the tall man waving hello to the north. He's covered head to toe in shoe soles, the soles of thousands of African Americans that traveled to the South Side of Chicago during the Great Northern Migration. See his suitcase? Well, he's carrying the dreams of travelers, those who came such a long way to search for equality and opportunity. So come along, we'll show you what became of those dreams, the history, triumph, and heartbreak that make up Chicago's Quad Communities.
Geographically, we're perfectly situated. We're just minutes from the Loop downtown. We're right on the lakefront.
This was the mecca of the music. And this is really the true legacy of Chicago, is the music. You talk to people from all over the world and they come to Chicago, first thing they want to do is, what's the best blues club to go to? You know, where can I see some music?
It's a part of my past as well. And just learning of the history and then the fact that you can actually walk outside and see it. If you don't know about it, you'll miss it. But if you know it's there, it's still there. You can still see the history somewhere in the community.
The Quad Communities is made up of 4 neighborhoods: North Kenwood, Oakland, Douglas, and Grand Boulevard. The best way to take this tour is by driving right along Lakeshore Drive. So jump in and let's go. The big flashing red dot will show you where we're headed. The smaller red dots will show you where we've been. Welcome to the Douglas Tomb, located in a quiet, lush green cul-de-sac that makes you feel miles away from the booming metropolis of Chicago.
Stephen A. Douglas, who is the former senator of Illinois, is famous for the Lincoln-Douglas debates. The debates actually centered around whether or not they should free the slaves. And Stephen actually said that if you do free the slaves, it will result in civil war. He owned a lot of land in this area. His estate was called Oakenwald, which is part of the Oakland-Douglas communities. He had donated a large portion of his land to be used as a Confederate POW camp. So all that land by 35th Street and Martin Luther King Boulevard, it was one of the worst northern prison camps because it had the highest mortality rate.
Even before the war was over, freed men and fugitives from the South began building a black community in South Chicago. Soon after the war, people came by the thousands. Some neighborhoods in the Quad Communities were part of the Black Metropolis, a place where blacks could live and work without the strong racism of the South. The area boomed. Now the next stop we're headed to isn't a typical tourist attraction. But in order to see where a neighborhood is headed, you have to see where it's been. Oakwood Shores is a new, beautiful, mixed-income development, part of the Chicago Housing Authority's plan for transformation. It sits right where the Ida B. Wells homes used to be, a public housing project known as one of the most dangerous in Chicago.
Public housing was a step up because you got your own apartment and your family had, kitchen, bathroom, and it was nice. But it was transitional housing, so as those folks went in, they worked for a few years and then they moved out. Unfortunately, in later years, public housing fell into disrepair and it became a dangerous situation. The buildings were deteriorating. A bad element had been allowed to come into the buildings, and that it was just necessary. We just had to make a change.
The disinvestment in the area also applied to some great landmarks of black history that have now been demolished.
Oh, yeah.
But at 4339 South Lake Park Avenue, what some have called the original House of Blues still stands. Blues great Muddy Waters bought this house in the 50s with the earnings he'd made from Chess Records, one of a handful of famous Chicago record labels creating the hits of the 50s and 60s.
And you can go all over the world, and the blues is the most recognizable music on this planet. If I wanted to say something and I wanted you to know I was talking about the blues, all I have to go is da-da-da-da. Real simple.
Let's head on south till you hit the 47th Street Metro underpass. These amazing murals are made in the bricolage style, using broken tile, mirrors, and photographs to show the history of the area. A local resident designed the mural, and kids on summer break put it together. Head west and you'll end up in one of the newest and coolest art spaces on the south side, the Little Black Pearl. This huge space features local art exhibits. There's always something new on display. Take a rest and grab something to drink at their beautiful coffee shop with free Wi-Fi, not to mention a collection of pottery and gifts made by resident artists and kids who come here for the after-school program. Who needs a souvenir t-shirt when you can walk away with a one-of-a-kind piece and support the local community? It's almost the end of our tour, but there's one last important piece. This is the house of President Barack Obama, and although security won't let you near his house, you can still get a picture of the lovely evergreens from across the street.
This community is certainly resilient. We've gone from the glory days of old to that disinvestment stage and now back to this revitalization stage. So I think when you look at this community again, where we're geographically situated, the fact that we are so close to the home of the president, I can't think of any place else more exciting in the city.